Hi loves, welcome back to another beautiful tutorial video, which is the making of this beautiful 3-in-1 watch skirt. This is the first look. I termed this the casual look. Guys, this is my most favorite look. I just love everything about this look. Now moving on to the second look, I termed this look the party look. This look gave the mini skirt vibe and feeling. So if you want to wear the skirt as a mini skirt, you can go ahead and roach it like this and you are good to go. Now the third look is called the church look, which is my most second favorite look, which is if you want to wear this skirt to go to church, you go ahead and roach it like this and you are good to go. So guys, if you're interested in this, please keep on watching and let's get started. For this tutorial, these are the body measurements I'm going to be making use of, and this is the fabric I'll be using to show you guys how I sew the skirt. It is a crepe fabric and I have just 1 yard of fabric. I would advise that when you're sewing this skirt, you should have nothing less than 1.5 or 2 yards of fabric, because this 1 yard of fabric, I ended up managing it because it was not almost enough for me to sew the skirt. So guys, I'm just going to go ahead to fold my fabric into two, just the way you see me do. Go ahead and fold your fabric into two like this and place it on the table. Then you're going to fold it again just like this. So I'm doing this because I want to cut the front and the back pieces together at the same time. You're just going to leave like about 1.5 inch or 1 inch there, which is going to be for the zipper allowance. So after you're done doing that, now you're going to go ahead and rule a line here, which is going to serve as your starting line. After doing that, guys, now the next thing you're going to do is to take the length. So I just took away 1 inch, which is going to be for the band, and I measure to the hip length. Then I take it all the way to the knee length. Then I'm going to take the length of this skirt. The length is supposed to be 19 because of the roach, like the roach we are going to have on the sides. So I want to make the length 30 or 32 inches, so that by the time I roach it at the side, it's going to give it that roach effect. So I marked 32 and I added extra 1 inch for the sewing allowance. Now I'm just going to go ahead to rule the lines. So guys, after ruling the lines, now the next thing you're going to do is to take the round body measurement. So I'm going to come to the waistline and take my round waist measurement divided by 4. Then I'll add 1 inch for the sewing allowance. Then I'll come to the hip line. I realized that the fabric was not enough to actually mark my round hip measurement divided by 4. So what I did here is I just adjusted the fabric just the way you see me doing. So guys, if you have enough fabric, you won't have to be doing all this. I told you guys earlier that I'm actually managing the fabric for the tutorial, so I just adjusted it. Then I was able to take my round hip measurement divided by 4. So this small one here now is going to be the sewing allowance. So after doing that, guys, I'm going to come to the knee line. I'm as well going to take my round knee measurement divided by 4 and I'll add 1 inch for the sewing allowance. So what I have on this knee line from here to here, I'm going to take it on the hemline as well. Now I'm going to go ahead to connect this with my straight ruler. Then after I'm done doing that, I'll just make a curve from there to the hip and all the way to the waist, and this is what you're going to have. Now I'll go ahead and cut this out. So guys, after cutting, this is it. This is what you're going to have. Now I'm going to go ahead to place this aside now. Then we'll go ahead to cut out all the other pieces that we'll be needing for the skirt. So I'm going to be using this remaining one here, this remaining fabric, to cut the ropes that I'm going to be using to roach the skirts at the sides. So I'm just going to go ahead to cut it out using about 1 inch. It's about 1 inch wide that I'm cutting, guys. Note that this fabric is actually on fold, so it is not just this long, it is times 2 as long as what you are seeing right now, because this fabric is on fold. So I'm going to be needing 4 of it. You can see I have it to be 4, so I'll just place this aside. Now I will be using this other fabric. This is a fabric that remained from another person's fabric. Like I already said that I'm managing this fabric for the tutorial, so I'll be using this to cut out the band. So I just folded it into 2 and you see me, I'm cutting it out. Then I will use that one to cut out another one I'll be using for the other band. So guys, this is it. When you fold it into two, it's going to look like this for the two band, the front and the back. So guys, this is it. I went ahead to use the actual fabric to cut out the same thing as the lining piece that I'll be using to lining the skirt. This is because I'm making use of a very soft fabric. If this fabric was to be a thick one, I would not need to lining it, but because the fabric is very soft, I have to lining it. So if you are using a thick fabric, you would not need to lining yours. Okay, so I turn my fabric to the right side on the table, as you can see. Then I'm going to place the lining piece on it, the right sides facing each other. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this to the sewing machine and sew round. After I'm done doing that, I will also sew the lining piece to the actual fabric of the two back pieces. So that's what I'm going to do. So guys, after I was done doing that, this is what I have. These are the back pieces after I was done sewing the lining pieces to it. Can you see? And I also sewed the lining piece to the front piece just like this. So guys, after you're done doing this, now I'm going to go ahead to bring the pieces I will use for the band. So I cut this out when we were cutting, so I have it to be 3 inches wide, and it's long enough to go around the neck area. So guys, this fabric is a thick crepe fabric. It is not the same fabric that I use for the skirt itself. So because it is a thick crepe fabric, I don't need to iron any hairstay to it. So I'm just going to go ahead now to sew it on the waist area of my skirt. So this front part, I'm just going to take it to the sewing machine and sew it on it just like this. Then after I'm done doing that, I will also sew it to the waist area of the back pieces. So guys, after sewing the waistband to the body, so this is what I have. As you can see, I top stitch it. You can see I top stitch it. This is totally optional. You can choose not to do this. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and join the back pieces together. So to do that, I'm just going to measure from the waistline. I will come down by 9 inches, which is going to be for the zipper. So from that mark that I made, I'm just going to go ahead to sew it down. So I'll just join this part down the way that you see me chalking it. So I'm just going to take it to the sewing machine, then I will join it down. Then after I'm done joining it, then I'll go ahead and fix my zipper to this opening. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So guys, this is what I had after I was done doing that. I've joined this part and I also went ahead to fix the zipper. I used an invisible zipper, as you can see. So you will notice that I don't have that in this skirt. This is because you don't need that when you're sewing a ruched skirt, okay? And the front part, you can see it does not have that as well. So right now I'm going to go ahead to join the sides together. So I just place my fabric, the front and the back, the right sides facing each other. Now I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and I will join the sides. You know, after taking my measurements, I'll just go ahead and join the sides. Then I'll do the same thing to the other side. So guys, this is what I had after I was done joining the two sides together. As you can see, before joining, I decided to hem the down part. This is because I noticed that if I don't hem it, the lining will be popping out when you wear the skirt. So that's why I decided to do this. If you are using a soft fabric like mine, you will have to do that as well. So guys, now the next thing I'm going to do is to flip my skirt to the wrong side. It's time to work on the roach that is at the side. So this sewing allowance that I have on the sides, I'm just going to open it flat like the way you see me doing. Then I'm going to iron it flat with my hot iron. After you're done ironing, you're just going to sew on it just like this all the way to the end. You just sew it all the way to the waist area, then you will stop somewhere there. Then you also do the same thing to the other side. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I will do the same thing to the other side, open up the same allowance, and I will sew on it, so that the hole I'm going to have there is where I'll put my rope through for the roach effect. So guys, this is what I had after I was done doing that, as I demonstrated. You can see. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to bring the ropes that I cut out when I was cutting this fabric, the 4 of them. I've already gone ahead to fold them around. Now I'll be using my safety pin to put the rope through the space that I just created for the roach. So guys, that's what I'm going to do. So just put your safety pin through the rope, then you use it and put the rope through the space that I have here. So you're just going to do this and bring it out from the waist area.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever try.
So guys, this is it. I've done it. Now I'll just pull it inside. Make sure that the rope is inside, just like this. You're going to stitch it, but before then I'm going to pin this down while I go ahead to pull the rope through the other space that I have.
And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll
So guys, after doing one side, I went ahead to do the same thing to the other sides. So now I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and I will stitch it. So I'm just going to stitch it there and there. Then I will do the same thing to the other side, just like that. This is what I had after I was done stitching it, guys. So this is how it came out. This is how it is looking like. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and style this skirt the way it is supposed to be. I'm just going to pull the ropes just the way you see me doing. So pull the ropes in order to give it that roach effect. So that's what you're going to go ahead to do. So this totally depends on how long you want this skirt to be. So the more you pull it, the more the skirt will be short. So the less you pull the rope, the longer the skirt will be for you. So it totally depends on how long you want your skirt to be. After pulling it, you're going to go ahead and tie it up just the way you see me doing. Then you're going to repeat the same thing to the other side. Go ahead and pull it as well. So guys, this is what I had after I was done ruching the skirt. Did you see how nice, how pretty this came out? The beauty of this skirt is when you wear it on your body. It might be looking somehow now, but when you wear this skirt, you're going to see the beauty. So let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Thank you so much guys for watching. Don't want to hit on the subscribe button, and I will be seeing you all in my next video.